If I had a dollar bill for every time I have been faulted by a Christian for longing to be with Jesus, watching for him every day, longing to go home, calling me an escapist, every time I talk about the rapture, I could literally quit my job. And the funny thing is, well, maybe not funny, but sad. The sad thing is, I've never had an unsaved person in my life ever say such a thing to me, ever. I've also never had an unsaved friend walk out of my life. It's always been Christians. I will never sit here and justify why I long for Jesus and want to go home and be with him. Because if I have to sit here and explain that to you, it's because you do not know him at all, and you wouldn't even understand my reason why. I could sit here all day and tell you why I love my husband, and you may say, oh, that's great, but you wouldn't understand it because you don't know him. What I will ask is, why don't you? Why don't you long to go be with Jesus? You say you're a Christian, but are you? I mean no disrespect here, but honestly, if you are not longing to be with the one who came here, put all of your sin upon himself on that cross, and took on the full measure of God's wrath in your place, the death penalty that was meant for you while you were a vile, sinful enemy of God, I'm sorry, I just don't understand that at all. If you claim to have put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ and his finished work for your salvation, then you want to know him. And when you know him, you'll want nothing more than him and no one else more than him. You will long for heaven and long to be with him. You will pursue a deep, loving, intimate relationship with him. And you will love lost sinners so much that you will stop at nothing to throw them a life preserver everywhere you go so that they don't miss the rapture and perish in the tribulation. You'll stop at nothing to bring the truth to people and hopes to save them from the impending danger. Jesus himself said in Luke 21:36, "Watch therefore and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man." Jesus said that. So, yeah, I'm an escapist, and you'd be smart to be one too. For the life of me, I cannot imagine why people aren't thinking about escaping what's to come rather than storing up all the food and supplies that you possibly can to last you through 7 years of horrifying wrath. I don't understand that. Which you won't even be able to stay away from all the looting and the robbery of people who are trying to survive. So where's all your food and goods gonna go? And it won't matter anyways. None of your stored up goods and supplies and food will matter, because the book of Revelation says that 60% of the population will be wiped out during this time. And that does not even include those who are martyred by the Antichrist for their faith. You can say this video is fear-mongering at its best. You're right. It is. The Bible describes this time of trouble that comes upon the whole world and all who reject the gospel, that it will be a time like no other, nor ever will be. You can't lie. Revelation 6-16, the 7-year tribulation, is pretty fearful. And Jesus is the only way out of it. You don't have to be here for any of it. It's not meant for those who accept the gospel and put their faith and trust in the gospel of Jesus Christ for their salvation. It's for those who don't. Period. My whole life has been full of major problems, but I've gained true peace through all of it in my pursuit of a relationship with my Savior, the one who died for my vile self. I now know the Prince of Peace, and none of my past even matters anymore. It molded me, shaped me, humbled me, and saved me, and transformed me into the image of Christ. How? Because I truly gave my heart to Him 27 years ago and fell in love with Him and spent those years getting to know Him. And since then, He has used every single trial, even almost being killed by 2 people, and all my foolish decisions to grow me and make me who I am today. He used it for my good. And this is going to sound awful and ugly, but even in my own selfishness and 2 deaths that I caused in my own womb, He saved me from that vile person I once was. And when I sit before Him every day and meditate on Him, I don't sit here and wonder what He can do for me. I think about all that He has done for me. The patience and long-suffering He had for me while I was turning my back on Him my whole life, over and over and over, still never leaving me, waiting for me to truly surrender all to Him and to deny myself for once and pick up my cross and follow Him. He waited for me to make that decision in all of my foolish living. So yeah, I know Him and love Him and forever will long to be with Him, the one who redeemed me with His blood that I didn't deserve then and I don't deserve now. And now I long for a place that I've never seen. I don't want to be here. This world has nothing for me. Even Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight for it." Jesus tells us not to store up treasures here on this earth, but to store them up in heaven, because that's our true home. And that's where true reward is waiting for the believer. Once you truly know Jesus, nothing else will matter anymore. I am sold out for Jesus. Not many people are. Not many Christians are. In fact, this narrow path to life, I feel, by the day, gets even more narrow. So my advice to all of you, unsaved, get saved, those who profess to be saved, who don't even long for the rapture or long to be with Jesus, come on over to our side and be an escapist.